Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, racing is underway.
Yes, it
I mean, we've
is.
been talking about it for a long couple months, and I'm just happy to finally watch different series. We got World Superbike we just witnessed a couple weeks ago, and now we got Daytona 200 and MotoGP kicking off, and some cool participants.
So, what is that like for you? I mean, because how long have you been following MotoGP now?
I'll say since 2018-ish
You guys get
and into 2019 and really started getting into it in 2020 when I actually started getting on the track.
right. And what's that? And what's that like for you now? Like, I noticed like for me with the season starting and stuff like that, and you've been following it for 4 years now. Are you getting as excited as you were like the first season, or where you obviously understand a lot more about MotoGP now than when you first started? So, do you appreciate it a lot more? Are like I don't know what it was like for you last year, but were you like, okay, I can just watch the race whenever, or you were like making sure before the weekend was done, you're watching the
Well, I mean,
races?
I can, but that's a lot. But let's see. Until I started getting on the racetrack, like I started to appreciate, you know, people's riding style and stuff like that. So once I started to get into MotoGP and start watching like the good riders and stuff like that, and understanding who has titles and so forth, and continue to watch it, I think as the years goes on, I get even more excited.
Mm-hmm.
Just knowing more of the competition and what's at stake, and the new things that are being tested, and so yeah, I think going into each weekend, I get really excited, and I try to watch the races as soon as they. If I can watch it live, I'll try to. But the times to be all over the place.
Right. Yeah. I think it
Um,
depends on
but
life and
I,
life.
I treat it like watching a TV show. I gotta watch my practices. I gotta watch them in order. To understand what's going on, just
Right.
to see the final result. So.
No, definitely. Um, that's something that definitely have to happen. So yeah. So this weekend, are you gonna stay up? You gonna what's the plan? Because
I mean, for the practices, I'll try to like stay up as much as possible, but I'm not gonna, stay up to like 5 a.m. I didn't see what time they're gonna be practicing, but I think Qatar is a weird time. Um, but for the race, usually the Sunday race, I try to get up early and watch that live.
yeah,
We'll see, we'll see.
yeah, for me, it's been difficult. These last few weeks, as I just been ridiculously busy. And it's one of those things where I'm hoping to go to Daytona and take that in, but I also want to watch the races, and I also got a lot of other things going on. So definitely up in the air. I've been watching MotoGP now probably since 2015. I have to say somewhere around there, and you know, for me, it it seems like one of the best seasons have the potential, right? Because we haven't watched it yet, to be one of the best seasons out there, just because of the backstories of all the riders and all the stuff that's going on. Luca Marini going to Honda, you know what I'm saying? Ren's going to Yamaha. Obviously, Marc Marquez is the probably one of the biggest stories going to Ducati after being with Honda for so long. And then Pedro Acosta, is he gonna shatter records of being so young and being so fast? And then and I say all that, and then it's Pecco. Can he do a three-peat? Can he be the dynasty
How can you forget about your guy Morbidelli?
again? This is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? It's like must-watch TV. NBC don't come for me,
Exactly.
but it is that.
he
Muscle up
also got something to.
MotoGP, right? That's what it is, man. Say again.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean from the time that I started following, and as the season is at this moment, um, just following along since then. This season is seems to be really exciting because trying to get to know most of the riders and where they're going and their potential and stuff like that. And everyone has something to shoot for. I mean, everyone always has something to shoot for, but
Right.
it's like really big this time.
Right. Well, yeah,
Um,
and I mean, look, you look. I'll pick on the NBA and other sports, right? Not everybody's built the same, and you see the levels of basketball players and the difference, right? The different levels to it. I had a quote, was that Meek Mills, and so for MotoGP, it was like that for a while. There were top riders and there were riders in different tiers, and obviously those riders in different tier were also on satellite bikes that were a lot different spec bikes. You know what I'm saying? Now satellite riders got pretty much the same spec bikes as the factory guys, so like the playing field has been leveled, and the confidence and the skill set of riders, it's on a different level. Now, some will argue, the electronics and all that stuff or whatever, but nonetheless, you still got to ride the bike. You still got to finish.
Absolutely. And not to bring a World Superbike, but how they
Oh,
brought
bring it
in
up.
the
I like talking about motorcycles.
well, I mean, how they brought in the weight rule,
Mm-hmm.
so and it brings me back to like GP with Danny Pedrosa and stuff like that, and it's just wondering with all this technology making everything faster, is it even?
Right.
Which
Well, yeah,
it's not.
I think and you see that. Well, it's weird, right? Because you saw well, we don't. I'm sure somebody has the spec on Alvaro Batista being, the Scott Redding comment about, there should be a weight limit. Now there's a weight limit, but when he said it, he's like, there's an advantage because the dude is light on the bike and he can run. Danny Pedrosa was light on the bike, but again, Danny Pedrosa suffered in tracks that were colder because he didn't have enough weight on the bike
Right.
to get the tires warm enough to perform. So, and I don't know, with World Superbike, I don't know what the temperatures have been for Alvaro to see if he's been put in that position. But now that he got more weight, even in a colder track, he's going to have an advantage because he will have more grip than if he was without what I don't know what they added to his bike, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I think that's the only thing. I think lighter riders in MotoGP, which we're not. I don't know the height level of every rider. I think Jorge Martin might be one of the smaller riders in MotoGP. Um,
Now Pecco's one of the taller riders, like
Yeah,
rims as
and
well.
yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think who, but so what I mean. So I think that plays a part in it, but it also depends on the bike. And I suppose, yeah, I don't know if Honda ever thought of adding weight to their bike for Pedrosa when it was colder versus when it was not. And again, it's all muscle memory, and I don't know how much that would affect his riding style as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's why this season upcoming. I want to see like the new. I mean, we saw like the testing stuff that they put on, but I want to
Right.
see what they really gonna be racing with, and the first race like tells where the season's gonna go for most of these riders.
Right. Now, I will say I did watch the press conference 1 and 2, and I feel pretty good about what the writer says because on previous shows what we've talked about. There's some writers kind of, not necessarily co-signing, but co-signing what we're saying and predictions and what can happen. So I feel like we're not necessarily spot on, but we're pretty close to what the writers are thinking that what the outcome could be for by the end of the season.
I didn't see the press conference, so you beat me to that. But um, I mean, I can only imagine what it was said for the outcome.
Yeah.
Would you like to share?
No, you gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. You'll watch. People can watch it. Y'all can comment below. But like what we're saying is that it's going to be entertaining, and there's a lot of top riders that has an opportunity to be one of those guys fighting for the championship. I mean, you got 8 to 10 guys that can fight for the championship this year. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's, I don't know if, I guess at the beginning of the season, one can always say all the riders lining up on the grid has the potential to win the title. But, based on, what I'm saying, preseason and what you see, you can tell. And it's fair to say that riders on Ducatis have the greatest chance, and then KTM or Aprilia, depending on who you ask, just because the bikes are just better. Not even to mention the skill set of the riders.
That's why it's such a good track to start off at this
Oh
one
my
because
god!
I mean, who doesn't love straightaways? I mean, I love corners and twisties, but I just want to see what these horses can do. You know,
Right, and we played a video game, right? And that track is one of those tracks that, like, even in the corners and coming out of corners, you're pretty much still driving, and you know what I mean. It's not like slow corners, right? So
Cool.
huh?
I think they have like two slow corners in that
Right,
in
but
this
a lot of them you're like having fun, right? Like
track.
it's one of those tracks I enjoy riding. And again, I mean, it's a video game, right? But it's still like, man, this is like, if I was there, it seems like a fun track.
I know it's a hot track too. Knowing that they race at nighttime, so
Right, right. That it is.
that's another thing. When it's super hot and then you're in that suit, man, that's a battle. And they do like what 26, 27 laps in this one, possibly.
Well, I mean, and not talking about there's a sprint and then there's practice, right?
And
So
it's
they definitely, could get upwards of over 100 laps before the weekend is over. So
they're gonna be baking.
yeah, and so I don't know what the temperature is going to be like at this time of the year there. That will be interesting to see what happened. But racing at night, I forget what last year was the sprint at night as well on Saturday. I don't remember, or night afternoon.
Don't I'm not sure about that.
You know what I mean? But I think that's something that probably will happen. It's interesting that they did change the tire pressure rule. And I think they, from what some of the riders are saying, they may be a happy medium. So that way, hopefully, a lot of people won't lose points for having too higher tire pressure, and also won't risk safety as well
And that's tricky. How do they test that?
when they come
That
in
that I
when they come
don't.
in off the track, man. They check
Uh,
it to see how hot it
the
is. But
stewardess just walk up to them and just be like, "Hey, let me check."
yeah, yeah, they're waiting at when you pit in. Or
Okay,
I mean, I assume they wait when you pit in, but maybe they come to your paddock. I don't know, but they definitely check in before the tire gets cold, and so I gotta assume it's when they come in that you're stopping and they check in and that you keep rolling.
that's that's fine. But yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. This is gonna be an exciting weekend. It's underway.
Right.
So
So
well, it's
we
about
we.
to.
We haven't said anything about which rider is going to do well this weekend. And it's, and I believe not believe, I know that for sure it's the facility was done over. So I can't wait to actually watch practice sessions and see what the facility looked like, based obviously on what the cameras show me. But from what I understand, it might be the best track in MotoGP.
It's really hard to decide. I can only go off of like my favorites, so to speak. But going off of stats, like I mentioned, I think Maverick has a shot. Um, and hopefully it can just qualify well because qualifying it matters the most. So if you can get into at least Q2, you have a shot, obviously. But I want to say Maverick, Jorge Martin, and I mean we all know the number one place gonna be around.
Yeah,
So I want to
yeah,
say
yeah.
Pep.
Yeah. It's gonna. Listen, man, I can't wait to see it, because it's one of those things that I think there are a lot of people like us that can't wait for the lights to go out and really see what happens. And the first round is always pretty cool. So looking forward to it. And I think Yeah, you already know I'm gonna say Ducati's probably gonna win it. They got a pretty good shot of winning it, and I don't know which rider. In all honesty, I think that you know that's one of the things that I'm not sure who will win it, but you know it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be Ducati, but you never know.
No names, you just got Ducati. I was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
mention Mark too. There's a big story behind Mark, so I do wish him the best for his first round on Ducati.
Uh
I
huh.
mean, show it would just show his talent and skill.
Right.
Because he is also, I would say right behind Rossi is one of the best riders um
He is,
in
yeah.
this era.
Right. And I'm
So
pretty sure like Kobe wanted to beat Shaq, Mark Marquez wants to beat Rossi's record. I don't believe there's a doubt in his mind. And it's interesting, because I again from I think even just the last 4 years of Mark Marquez, humbled him and as a rider, and because before that he was a different animal. And similar to Rossi, I believe, as and a lot of these riders, Max Biaggi and these top riders, they're on a different level. I think the Johan Zarco and the Fabio and the Pecco, are different riders compared to like you know Marc Marquez. So and the history of what I've watched and the things that I've seen on track and the stories I've heard about off track, in those days where Rossi could have won one more and Lorenzo's won, and Marquez had beef and blah blah with Rossi, and obviously all that happened. So to see that, and then to see him now being so humble, and being on the other side, and I'm not gonna say Derrick Rose was cocky before, because he didn't really talk much. His game spoke, but Marquez was like a Derrick Rose, but also talk trash, right? But Derrick Rose, after getting hurt, was an elite player still, but he was humbled. And from stories, he's just like that changed who he was getting hurt as a human being. And it seems like Mark Marquez as a human being has changed, due to his injuries, and so he's more humble. But I think when the lights go out, he's still that animal. You know what I mean? I just think it's going to be a different ride for him. But so when I hear in the press conference and he's talking about all these things, he's saying all the right things. But trust me, I think if he get up to speed, he's going to be like Jordan coming back, or Tiger Woods coming back, or any elite athlete coming back. And trying to be the best that they can be, the new version of themselves.
I mean, he has that. I mean, we all have that bug in us where you just no matter what, you just want to give it a shot.
All
I
right.
mean, I watched a little bit of his documentary, or it was
On
I
Amazon.
watched pieces of it, but
Yeah.
parts of it where I saw where it's just he was saying like getting injured all the time. Like, why do I just keep going back out and doing this?
Right.
At this point in his career, I think it's just like, look, this is all serious now. Um, like you said, he's more humble and he has to do it right. I mean, he has the skill level, so I mean, I think he's set up in the right position. And when you start a race, um, especially when you get a good start, right? You're like, oh, you sit in third up front. So like when you get there, you have a more of a mentality like, all right, I can try to stay up here.
Right.
So as long as he gets it going, like you said, gets a good start. And Mark, like if you're in his way, he's gonna find a way through somewhere. He's not gonna like choke up.
So
So
he got a lot more
uh,
tools in his toolbox than the rest of those riders.
yeah, he's one of those aggressive riders that we talk about people's riding styles.
Right. So definitely, definitely. So yeah, so I think I don't want to use this. I'm going to use the term. He's one of the dark horse that can do something, but so is Digia. You know what I mean? Those guys. I think Bezecchi's another guy that's a dark horse. I mean, he should be up there,
They're
but
earning their
just
stripes, right?
say again.
But they're earning their stripes, right?
Yeah, for sure, they're earning their stripes, but the front runners are going to be the Martin, the Pecco,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think Maverick has a good shot in that. I think Brad Bender has a good shot in that. I want to say Jack Miller as well. But Jack. He's one of these. Yeah, yeah. I see the hat, man. I see the hat. So I want him to be up there. But Brad finished better than he did last year. But he's the guy that allowed Brad to ride the way he rode last year by giving the input he gave for them to change the bike and made that. So, I'm rooting for Jack Miller as well. But those guys are the front runners to get it. Besecki's up there for sure. I mean, Morbidelli, it's unfortunate that, he got hurt in testing and stuff like that, and pre-testing, not even on a MotoGP bike. So hopefully, I don't know what his situation is like. So I think for him, we got to wait and see. So I can't really put him up there. But the Gian Antonio has a pretty good shot. I mean, Marquez obviously got a pretty good shot. Who else is on Ducatis? All those, Bastianini has a good shot because, he seems to be riding well already. So, I think 6 out of the 8 Ducatis, I mean, 7 out of the 8 Ducatis got a shot at the title. 2 Aprilia's got a shot of the title. We're waiting to see what the satellite teams does. Raul Fernandez, hope he has to, if he wants to stay in MotoGP, I think he's going to have to start finishing in the top 8 more, Oliveira, I think, gets a little bit more of a pass than that because he's won races and he's just been jacked up. Granted, Raul Fernandez was jacked up too with his injury, so there's also that. But I think those guys for this year, if they're healthy, they gotta produce. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing about it is Luca Marini and Pecco Bagnaia are the only two that got contracts until 2026. You know what I'm saying? And or end of 2025, right? Well, yeah, because Luca signed for 2 years, so he's done at
Yeah.
the end of 25. But Pecco's done he signed now, and he's done at the end of he's signed for 25 and 26. Everybody
I ain't
else,
losing
everyone else can get a pink slip.
it. I mean, yeah, I mean, if where else would they go if it's not Ducati?
So
Well, who knows?
right. So you know what I'm saying. So well, it's possible. I mean, I've seen stuff online that's saying Martin could go to Honda, right? Because Mir doesn't have it hasn't he's not signed. He's only signed till the end of this year, so he can go to Honda on a factory bike if he wanted it. Um, you know what I mean? And so because there's only one factory seat available, and Peck and Bezecchi, Martin, and Mark Marquez and Dijan Antonio, right, could possibly and Bastianini could fight to keep it. Right? So, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can't wait. So, I mean,
And
as you naming all these, like, you didn't name the riders, but like the points going down and down and down and down and
yeah,
down, you know. So it's all about where you finish,
exactly. So
It's
all
gonna
these
be a
right,
fight
yeah,
up front.
yeah, all these writers got to do well. They, the
Yeah.
universe. They're all doing yoga, doing meditation, doing everything possible to hope that the universe is on their side so they want to get out there. Because trust me, I think that, if you have a mechanical, if another rider causes you to go down, just those, you know what I'm saying? Like bad luck can cause you a factory seat and it has nothing to do with your skill set.
And it happens quite often where
Right. You know,
it can happen to everyone where they not even going down, but you can just get bumped off track, lose a couple spots, or engine failure or something like that, where you can't finish, and it's detrimental pretty much because that's a lot of points.
right. And,
But I think, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and Fabio, I think I don't know. I assume Rin's got a 2 year seat. I can't believe he has a 1 year seat, but he might have a 1 year seat. Um, but you know what I'm saying? Like Quattararo is going to be on the market. You know what I mean? Mir is going to be on the market, which they're very good riders. And Vinales is going to be on the market. Obviously, Elish is on. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody. So I, the crazy thing is, there's most of the riders in MotoGP are fighting for a seat next year, and that it's good and bad, right? Because people take more risk when they have more on the line. So that's the bad side of it. But the good side of it is we may see some amazing racing.
Oh yeah, so that's what we're hoping for. And I mean, I don't know if we got too many rain races last year. I mean, I like to see I like to see like, you know, what do they call it? Half rain, half dry. You know, and they're switching it up.
You know what I'm saying? Our flag to flag race.
Hard to flag, like yeah,
Right,
that
right,
was pretty
right, right.
cool. But as far as the rider, you know, you just wanna just get it down. But
Right. No,
yeah.
I completely agree. So let's get into Moto 2 because we can keep talking MotoGP. Um, you know, there's some names, you know, new names. Jermaine Masia, he's in Moto 2 now. You know, Diego's in Moto 2 now. Diego Moreira is in Moto 2 now. Sergio Garcia got to stop producing in Moto 2 because you know who's there. Celestino Viete, he's on the KTM factory team. Dennis Anchu is on the factory team. He's moved up. So Moto 2 is going to be kind of crazy. Sasaki's also moved up. There's a lot of new riders in Moto 2, and there's a lot of veterans in Moto 2. Uh, you know, Furman Aldegear,
Bill Roberts,
he was the
Darren
fast
Bender.
guy, right? He was the
Yeah,
fast
yeah.
guy. So it seems like he's the person to win it all. Although Joe Roberts finished second, I'm rooting for Joe Roberts. He's also a musician. So what are you thinking about Moto 2 and I think even Jake Dixon, all these guys got a lot to prove. So I mean, what do you think about that the series for 2024?
Um, I mean, I know Aldersgate is he's ready for MotoGP. I think.
I think he's already
Um,
signed to Pramac, dude. I think he's already
eh,
signed. So I think there's only one Pramac seat for 2025.
okay. So I think yeah, because Pedro's not there. Aldersgate got a great shot. I'm gonna keep rooting for Aaron Canet because I don't know.
Yeah,
I just want to see him
me
do
too,
well.
me
And
too.
for some reason, he has like the bad luck every race somehow. I just want to see him, you know, get a first place,
Right.
and Sasaki, he's pretty good too. So
Yeah. No doubt. No, I think definitely Darren Bender. I mean, there's a lot of competition in Moto 2, and it's crazy, right? Because these guys got to realize like, um, how difficult is it going to get into MotoGP? Because the talent in MotoGP is so good. Like, it's really hard to look at Moto 2 at the moment. You know, so these guys are kind of stuck in Moto 2 because of the talent in MotoGP right now.
yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, there's no seats, and I
There are a
mean,
lot
you
of
just
seats,
gotta,
but there are no seats. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You know, because it's really, I think it's really hard to pick up. Again, we don't know what the end of the season is going to look like. So maybe the top, you know, the bottom half of finishers may be out of a seat, right? Or you know what I'm saying. But the top 10 riders, top 12 riders, you know, probably, and they got to do this probably like halfway through the season, right? So by summer break, they got to figure this out. So,
yeah. I
uh,
mean, their mindset shouldn't even be on a seat. To be honest, I mean, I'm sure it's not, but I'm sure that's also the ultimate goal. But you know, there's a lot of competition there on the same bikes, you know, and they gotta, you know, put every race down. They also still just get one race, right?
right,
So they
correct,
don't have so
correct.
you know, there's a lot more at stake now. You know, I mean, it's always been the same, but you know,
Right. No, yeah, it's always been the same and very cutthroat. But I think the overall levels of MotoGP, Moto 2, probably even Moto 3 is at the best it's been because you know when you have one guy coming up as a rookie and no one else is coming up, so he automatically wins Rookie of the Year, right? Because like you know Who else is going? There's no one else. He's the only one that came up. Speaking of Pedro Costa, you know what I'm saying. So when you have only one guy, and it's been like that for the last couple of years now. It's only been a couple of guys coming up there. Early on, it was a lot more than that. So the level of quality of competition is it's off the charts.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean, and same with like Moto 3, like since no one in Moto 2 is really moving around or um like they'll be pretty much stuck and hopefully they don't age out.
correct. Well, yeah, I think they got a little bit of it for that because that happened to John McPhee, right? He
Yeah.
aged out, and now he's in World Superbike. So yeah, so for those older riders in MotoGP, in Moto 3, they're gonna have to start worrying when they start pushing closer to 25, 26. Plus, you still got a lot
Yeah.
of hungry dogs coming up in the junior classes now. So there's a gang of them all over the world. It's not even just a few now. It's just what
Yeah.
I mean. So at the end of the day, for team owners and stuff like that, and people who've been in Moto 3 for 5 years, 6 years, I don't think that's going to continue to happen because the level of riders, young riders, and we see them on the American side, not to mention the rest of the world. So I do feel like the Moto 3 riders they're gonna have to now perform at the level of which that they can continue to stay in the class and not get pushed out by younger riders. And obviously, that's kind of like that all the way up, right?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I mean, every year is supposed to be this type of feeling before the season starts. So I'm just more excited than ever to watch all the classes and see what's going on.
Right. Likewise, likewise. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to this weekend. I can't wait. I'm also looking forward to you were mentioning Motor America earlier, the Daytona 200. There's a lot of riders. Shout out to Eli, and because he's one of the riders in the Daytona 200. But you got Josh Herron, you got Josh Hayes, you got Steve Hopkins, you got Richie Escalante. It's a lot of big name Teague Hobbs. It's pretty cool to have a lot of East Coast riders on the list. Gus Rodeo, um, Brandon Posh has won it a couple of times and was
Yeah.
pretty close to winning it last time.
Yeah. Josh Herring got one. Hayes got a few.
So,
Like you said, a lot of competition out there.
but
And
yeah,
can't wait to see like the new upcoming ones that's out there that we've been watching, like, Kayla, you know, I think PJ Jacobson's out there.
right, right.
Um,
He's a little older though. He's not one of these.
oh, I know he's older, but
He's
you
not one of
know,
the new
that,
ones.
but he like over on this side, I guess he hasn't been really racing. So.
Right, 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 right.
Um, but yeah, it's a lot of locals as well for us, and it's pretty cool. Like even with the riding the baggers, Shane Narbone and
Right. Gunner.
um, Gunner, and then also from Australia, Troy Herfoss.
Huh?
So it's he rides what Superbike in Australia, and this is his first time racing
Okay.
in a track.
Right, right.
I'm not sure if in America, but first time at Daytona,
Right. I think Hickman
and
is racing too. I think
yeah,
Hickman is
so,
racing because I saw him in an interview with Motor America. He was at Colin Edwards camp and said he was
mm,
coming over and racing Daytona. So Peter Hickman, who's Island man, I don't know his stats, but the boy's fast and he don't care.
mm. Yeah, so they're on the way as well, and as we know, that's a 50 plus lap race. That might I think 52, maybe
Right.
60, something like that.
Yeah.
But
So yeah, so
and
excited for that, and kind of kicks off the Motor America series as well. So man, until November, there's a lot of racing going on.
oh, a lot of racing. And it's gonna be too much to keep up with. So yeah, we can't watch them all, but I'm gonna be
Says
excited
you.
to turn on something new and see some new finishers
Right.
and
No doubt.
new
No doubt.
styles and stuff like that.
No doubt. And it's almost time to do some local racing up north. I know you must be excited about that.
Yeah, that starts end of April, so I'm excited to at least do some practice and get my
Nice.
feet wet on the track. So
Yeah.
and yeah, getting ready for that.
Yeah, I go to a
And
new
street
track.
bikes coming out soon too.
Say, oh, yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
bikes stay
that's
out.
still not out, I know. Been doing some little go-kart racing
Okay.
and, like, things to keep my mind right, but,
Yeah, not
as far
until
as
yeah.
bikes,
Nice. Yeah, no, I'll be in New Orleans next weekend to race my first time at this track, so looking forward to it. It's always the first time at a track. It is what it is. You just do the best you can, and there's no expectations, but we'll see what happens. I'm still gonna try. So,
good luck out there. I mean, it's always good to it's always a privilege actually, um, to even, you have a chance to get on the track, so,
oh, for sure,
you know,
exactly,
getting out
exactly.
there, just good luck and, beginning of the season.
All right, no doubt, man.
I remember, like, last year, you said the first time people get on the track first year, they're going crazy and just like,
Right.
you ain't even warm up yet, so.
Exactly, exactly. All right, man. Well, we got MotoGP coming up, so we'll keep it locked. I definitely shout out your sponsors, and we'll peace out the people.
Yeah, official Vortex, J&G Performance, Hideaway Rentals, and Woodcraft Technologies for always supporting.
No doubt. Definitely check out Hamden Yard. Go to HRI Boston. Get your latest gear, Workbench Technology, any IT solution. For any issues, definitely reach out to workbenchtechnology.com. And I think that's it. My name is X45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
Peace.
Peace out.